In Scotland, we go to SNP spokesperson Mhairi Black. Mhairi Black.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And on this Holocaust Memorial Day, let us remember those who were persecuted and those who are persecuted now, and never forget that the horrors that can happen when bigotry goes unchallenged. But I want to ask the Minister, because I don't remember that same sense of responsibility when Brexit was being bulldozed through during that same pandemic that he's just mentioned. So if he's so sure of the strength of the union, why is he so afraid to test that strength in another independence referendum?
Jack.
Well, I would first of all line myself with the remarks the Honourable Lady made about the Holocaust. But I would go on to say that the referendum took place in 2014. We respect that. It was a democratic outcome. She mentioned Brexit. The referendum in 2016, again, a democratic outcome. We're the party that respect democracy.
Heading back to Mhairi Black. Mhairi Black.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. I know the Secretary of State is aware and he knows that a lot has changed since 2014. Scotland has been taken out the EU against its will. We have had 3 Tory Prime Ministers we've never voted for. And now with 20 consecutive polls in a row showing that a majority of people in Scotland now support independence, given that he is the defender of democracy, can I ask him, with that in mind, how can the people of Scotland secure that preferred choice of independence?
Well, I would say to the Honourable Lady, Scotland receives over £1,600 more per man, woman, child than the UK average in support. That is incredibly important. Not added to which, there's the £8.6 billion of extra coronavirus support, and on top of that, the furlough support. You know, Scotland, an independent Scotland, would have the largest deficit in the European Union, and actually, it would break member state rules. And I'd remind her what the SNP's own economic advisor, Andrew Wilson, said. An independent Scotland would face austerity like had never been seen before, with increases in taxation and cuts in public spending. I believe, as we focus on coming out of the pandemic, being all in the rowing boat together, pulling on the oars in these choppy waters is the best place for Scotland and the best for the United Kingdom.
On his birthday, let's go to Douglas Ross, who'll be having a virtual cake for us. Douglas Ross.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I'll share it to you when we come back to Westminster. But as we've just heard from the SNP spokesperson, the SNP would rather obsess over another independence referendum than focus on Scotland's recovery from COVID-19. Does the Secretary of State agree that this once again demonstrates that the nationalist priorities are all wrong? Because right now, people want us to focus on the vaccine rollout, defeating COVID-19 and rebuilding our economy.
Well, I wish my honourable friend many happy returns, and in my birthday present to him is I could not agree with him more. Rather than waste time on a divisive separatist agenda, the Scottish Government should be working with us to defeat the pandemic and to recover our economy.
Remaining in Scotland with Pete Wishart. Pete Wishart.
Thank you ever so much, Mr. Speaker. I didn't quite detect an answer to my honourable friend, the member for Paisley in South Renfrewshire, when she asked how the Scottish people now secure a referendum on independence. Now, we could dispute the merits of that, I'm sure we will, but does he accept that this is now what the Scottish people want? 20 opinion polls in a row indicate that. How do the Scottish people democratically acquire the right to have what they want in a referendum?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I say again, now is not the time. Now is the time for us to focus on rebuilding our economy and protecting jobs. And I see the honourable gentleman up there with his gold discs behind him. And I have to say, you know, from Scottish questions to Scottish questions, he's beginning to sound like a broken record.